Namihi Newikia Koto Katoa, Makari, Linjani, Jambo, Salam Alaikum, greetings in all African languages. Can I first start with acknowledgement of my good friend, colleague, and your local MP, Dr. Deborah Russell, who since I became an MP, I got to know closely and work with closely as well. She is such a good value, such a good local MP, and hopefully in the next few months and few years, you will get to see me and Deborah together and coming and talk to you. 2023 is not that far, so just a heads up about that. This is my second time, in fact, attending Zimbabwean Independence Day. Last year was in Christchurch with the brother and the others. And since then, I got to know the Zimbabwean community quite well, even though I've had a lot of Zimbabwean friends in the past. I'm someone who loves history, so I've read Zimbabwean history before even I became an MP. So Deborah said that the last 2 years was very difficult for us, and the Zimbabwean community cannot be any exception. And for us, those of us who have families back home, it was tough. We couldn't see our family for the last 2 years. But guess what? I'm very proud of the part the African community played in getting us through the pandemic. Particularly Katina and her team, getting all the Africans vaccinated. It wasn't an easy task, but with a lot of energy, enthusiasm, her and her team actually have vaccinated hundreds, if it's not thousands, of Africans, and many others as well. So Katina, I salute you, and I thank you for the good work that you do in making an African community's lives better every day. Thank you for that. The Zimbabweans have a long history in New Zealand, and they come in many different ways. A lot of them are skilled migrants, and they bring a lot of things to New Zealand, and they contribute a lot in making New Zealand a better place. And Africans, of course, Africans in general as well. So many of you in the last few months came up to me and said, talk to me about the issue that you have, be it around the visa, be it around what you do not being recognized. And the part of that is the sister has mentioned it, that a lot has to do the way that the system look at the Africans and the other minorities. And that needs to change. And we all coming together by working hard, we're gonna change that. Not just Miller, but there are other discriminations. There are other barriers. A lot of Africans have issues of getting jobs, even though they're highly qualified. Some of the people that I know are doctors, but they are driving Uber and taxis because they can't get a job. And that's, to me, it's a pure discrimination, and that needs to change. I was talking to the Minister of Agriculture the other day, who's also a good friend of me and Deb. And he came up to me and said that I want to talk to you about New Zealand probably like paying more attention into Africa. When I became an MP, I met up with some of the MFAT officials and I asked them, what do we have with Africa? What do we do with Africa? The only thing that they could point out was that New Zealand sends some aid to Africa. But that's not all. New Zealand, Cameroon, which is one of the African countries, have more trade exchange with New Zealand than Argentina. We do have an embassy in Buenos Aires, but not in Yaoundé. We only have 3 embassies throughout Africa in 54 African countries: South Africa, Ethiopia, and Cairo, Egypt. We don't have any other embassies. So as Africans who live in New Zealand, we must come together. One of the things that I said when I started hitting the campaign trail in 2000 was I was blown away how divided the African communities is. And that continues up to date. As long as we remain divided, we're not coming together, then we're not going to achieve anything. Not just for ourselves, but we're also failing our next generation of African kids here in New Zealand. So we must put all nonsense differences that we have, and we must work together for a betterment for ourselves, also for the future generation of African kids in New Zealand. New Zealand is a country that offers opportunity to all of us. Yes, we have issues. Yes, there's an issue in the system. Yes, there are some barriers. But New Zealand remains to be one of the best countries in the world. We have heard a lot about the American dreams. I don't think anyone can talk or realize about the Kiwi dreams. 5-6 years ago, I was a cleaner, studying full-time and cleaning at night. I have worked hard. Sometimes hard work is not enough. You've got to be people, you've got to have people, you've got to have connections. But with hard work, determination, and anything is possible. You can achieve anything. And that is what New Zealand is about, regardless of the barriers and the issue that we have. So if we all work hard, put our difference together, we can contribute in New Zealand. I was talking to well-known economists I think Waitemata Ethnic Board has launched this report. The ethnic people are accounted for 20% of New Zealand population. And we collectively contribute about $64 billion. And Africans counted about 0.3 of this. And that's not small. That's not a small thing. But if people were getting opportunities, our share in contribution in our GDP, it could have been way bigger than that. But people are not getting. So we do have a lot of work to do. I know that there is a lot of movement going on around bringing Africans together. I have seen work in Wellington. There is a work in Christchurch. There is a work in Auckland. Let's come together and work together. Once again, happy Independence Day, Zimbabwe, here in New Zealand and abroad. Thank you for having me. It is such an honor for me to be here today with you. I will be seeing you in the next 3 weeks and months and the years. Thank you so much.